Fellas, AC here, welcome to another review. Today I want to talk about a cheapie which is making a lot of headlines. It is Milestone by Armaf. And just look at the bottle. They're absolutely blatantly giving you a message that they're trying to do Millesime Imperial by Creed. Now, I got this bottle about 8 months ago and I tried it and I didn't like it then because it smelled very synthetic and very strong and like an industrial compound rather than a fragrance. Yeah, it was very off balance. You know, after you spent a lot of fragrances, there'll come a time when you sniff a fragrance and you'll know straight away that this fragrance is well composed, well blended or not. This one smelled very much off balance, so I just let it rest and I thought I'm going to give it a try when it warms up a bit. And I don't like to spray this because the fresh spray of this fragrance doesn't smell very good. Yeah, it smells again off balance. Yeah, so Millesime Imperial is untouchable. This one tries to do it, and if you're trying to replace your Millesime Imperial with this, let me set the expectation right straight away. No comparison, absolutely no contest. It does try to do the DNA and it successfully does that, but if you want to experience something spectacularly amazing, Millesime Imperial is what you should actually try. But it's very, very expensive and it's got extremely poor performance. I wouldn't say extremely poor, but it's very poor. 4 hours and it's going to cost you £250 for 100 ml. So it doesn't make any sense. But the fragrance is outstanding. This one is a budget fragrance and it smells like a budget fragrance when you first spray it. As I said, I don't like to smell the fragrance in the first 2 hours because it's very, very unbalanced. What it tries to do is copy the DNA of Millesime Imperial. Musk, fruits, floral and sea breeze, right? What it tries to do and what it does are quite different. So there's a creamy musk here. So musk is a tick, but not as high quality as Creed, obviously. There's melon here and there is cinnamon. And cinnamon and melon are a combination that I've experienced for the first time here. And it's a really nice combination. It's a dry, sort of semi-gourmand, fresh, fruity, and very creamy musk. So you can imagine, it's a really nice, slightly sweet. Millesime Imperial also has sweetness. So I'm not doing a comparison because I'll review Millesime Imperial separately. But this one, creamy musk, juicy melon and cinnamon. Nice, dry, but a dessert-like cinnamon, you know, a sweet dish like cinnamon. So it's slightly gourmand. And that airiness that Millesime Imperial is famous for, the sea breeze, is absent here. And there's also this nondescript florals, as if, you know, there's a bunch of flowers you're smelling. But, you know, it's more like a generic floral note, if you like, with that slight hint of petitgrain, which keeps the fragrance fresh and towards a sort of a summer fragrance, if you like. Yeah, that's the fragrance. That's the dry down. It starts off, as I said, it's decent. It's not as bad, but the dry down is amazing. So when you start off, you'll smell like the cinnamon is absent, but more of a narcotic floral with a creamy musk. That's what you smell when you start off. And it's just got a hint of dirtiness to it, as if they've used something like labdanum. Slightly leathery dirtiness. So that's the fragrance, yeah? So upsides and downsides. Number one upside of the fragrance is the money you pay for this. It's about £35 for 100 ml. You're getting a very, very good fragrance, yeah? It is very affable, very amicable, very social kind of a fragrance, very beautifully made. And it's only £35. So for the money, you're getting a very good fragrance. Number one upside. Number two, performance. Tremendous performance. I think this fragrance lasts on me, and I've tested it many times, roughly about 12 to 15 hours, yeah? Sometimes even more. On clothes, even longer. So the longevity is not a problem. Sillage and projection are medium. I wore it today, it was about 25 degrees, and I could hardly smell myself. And I put 3 more on my t-shirt, and I couldn't smell. So I was out in the garden. So the sillage and projection are medium. But when somebody comes in a scent bubble, it smells amazing. I've also noticed one thing, I sprayed it on a piece of paper, excuse me, and I've left it in the room. When I enter the room, that's the only thing I smell. That's one way for me to assess whether I'm getting olfactory fatigue or not. Since this is a very strong fragrance, I could be getting olfactory fatigue, and that also tells me that there's a hint of or a lot of isoe super in this fragrance, just to make it fill up the room, and it literally does that. You can test it yourself. So those are the two upsides. Now the downside. If you want to replace your Millesime Imperial, you can't. It's irreplaceable. It's one of the most amazingly made fragrances, very creative, completely esoteric, a concept that is very hard to replicate. This one dries down to the structure, the skeletal structure of Millesime Imperial. This will not replace your Millesime Imperial. So a lot of people might go with that expectation. Don't do that, because this will not replace it. Simple as that. Number two, downside. The opening of the fragrance is such that it will really upset people, or really, just put them off. And it did to me. In cold weather, this smells so off balance, so distorted. It smelled almost like a industrial chemical compound. So that's a downside. When it starts off, it smells a little bit off kilter. But in between weather is a nice weather to try this out. The opening is not bad either. So it's a nice fragrance, but in the right weather. So those are the two upsides and downsides. Occasions. I think it's such a lovely little fragrance that I can easily wear this to work, social occasions, to a date, evening time. It doesn't project a lot, so I wouldn't wear this clubbing. That's the occasion. Age groups, any age group. I think anybody can pull this off, and this is unisex, so ladies as well as men can pull this off quite easily. Yeah, so weather, in between weather, I think this smells the best on a warm evening. Today is a warm evening. It's about 15 degrees. It's smelling much, much nicer than I've ever smelled it. I always thought it will smell great on a hot day. I tried it today, I tried it the other day. It just doesn't spring off your skin to produce the magic that Millesime Imperial does. Or even a musk-based floral fruity fragrance should do. It doesn't jump off your skin, doesn't excite you when it's hot. But on a warm evening, it smells amazing. That tells me it's a very nice, cozy, with your friends, a relaxing evening fragrance, right? Marks out of 10. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10, primarily because limited variability, opening is a bit, and, all in all, it's a unisex fragrance. So, yeah, I think 7 is a fair one. So, hope you like the review, fellas. Take care. Bye-bye.